A Canadian Mental Health Psychology Guide 3. Chapter 1. Canadian mental health websites from Waterloo, Ontario at lhs.wrdsb.ca/guidance/mental-health-being/mental-health-resource-list. lhs.wrdsb.ca, Laurel Heights Secondary School mental health websites. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/anxiety. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/counseling. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/crisis. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/mental-health. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/self-harm. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/stress. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/suicide. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/well-being. lhs.wrdsb.ca/tag/wellness. lhs.wrdsb.ca/guidance/mental-health-well-being, mental health well-being. Mental health websites in the Waterloo region. pcmh.ca/documents/Waterloo %20 resource %20 list.pdf. This guide provides support and assistance to families of children and youth coping with mental health issues. howsubfriendship.org/wp-content/upload/2018/10/family-outreach-final-access.pdf. Family Outreach brochure contains information on the Family Outreach Program which addresses child poverty. howsubfriendship.org/how-we-help/family-support/family-outreach-program. House of Friendship's Family Outreach Program is a neighborhood-based program funded by the region of Waterloo that works with families with children aged 17 and under to prevent and reduce the effects of poverty. regionofwaterloo.ca/n/health-wellness/resources/documents/counseling-works-brochure.pdf, Counseling Works. Brochure contains information on the Counseling Collaborative Program, a free counseling service for those who are receiving support through Ontario Works or Ontario Disability Support Program. regionofwaterloo.ca/n/public-health-and-emergency-services.aspx, resources and supports available. wrspc.ca, WRSPC has resources and information on supports available in Waterloo region. Parents for Children's Mental Health, PCMH, Resource Guide. pcmh.ca/Waterloo, PCMH helps parents, caregivers, and members of the community to assist children with mental health concerns. It provides information on mental illness, local support services and resources available for children and their families. ottawapublichealth.ca/n/public-health-services/htt-parents.aspx, Have That Talk mental health video campaign was created to give parents more information about mental health. Center for Addiction and Mental Health, CAMH. camh.ca/n/hospital/health_information/for_parents/pages/default.aspx, CAMH provides information about parenting and mental health issues. smh-cc/wp-content/upload/web-cannabis-information-data-camh-english.pdf, Cannabis, What Parents/Guardians and Caregivers Need to Know. Parenting for Life by the Psychology Foundation of Canada. psychologyfoundation.org. Parenting for Life series is an award-winning public education program designed to promote positive parenting skills and the well-being of families. mentalhealthfoundations.ca/parent-coaching, parenting video series is now available to support caregivers interested in and #8220, prevention parenting and #8221, or who are struggling with the behavioral or emotional needs of their child/loved one. Shankar Self-Regulation Parent Resources. self-reg.ca/parent-resources. greatergood.berkeley.edu. Parent engagement is important to student success by the Council of Ontario Directors of Education. ontariodirectors.ca/parent_engagement.html. beyondblue.org.au/get-support/have-the-conversation. Beyond Blue has developed information that can help people have a conversation that might be difficult. Anxiety and stress websites. wrdsb.ca/wp-content/upload/wrdsb-parent-and-anxiety-support-resource-1.pdf, The Caregiver's Guide to Accessing Support for Students with Anxiety. Calm in the Storm, Coping with the Stress of Life by the Clinic Community Health Center. clinici.mb.ca/wp-content/upload/2015/07/com-in-the-storm.pdf. stress.ca. Kids Have Stress 2 Toolbox. psychology-foundation.org/public/resources/khsd_toolbox_activities/khsd_toolbox_activities.aspx. Building Resiliency websites. Raising Resilient Children and Youth by CAMH. camh.ca/n/health-infos/guides-and-publications/raising-resilient-children. Steve Moclia nps.ocds.ca/server/server_209636/file/school%20link/mental%20promotion/resiliency.pdf, short guide, created by the Canadian Mental Health Association. durham.ca/n/health-and-wellness/resources/documents/mental health/teen-parent-guide.pdf, Teens Can Be Resilient. greatergood.berkeley.edu/article/items/5_science_backed_science_to_build_resilience. Mind Our Mind by the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care. mindyourmind.ca. childmind.org. Positive Psychology by Dr. Barbara L. Fredrickson. coursera.org/learn/positive-psychology, free course discusses research findings in the field of positive psychology. Chapter 2. Canada Mental Health Organizations by Province. Alberta Mental Health Associations and Organizations. alberta.ca, Alberta. adac.com, Alberta Alcohol and Drug Abuse Commission, AADAC. aamimh.ca, Alberta Alliance on Mental Illness and Mental Health, AAMIMITE. acsw.ab.ca, Alberta College of Social Workers, ACSW. aglc.gov.ab.ca, Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission, AGLC. alberta-tr.org, Alberta Therapeutic Recreation Association, ATRA. amb.ab.ca, Alberta Mental Health Board, AMHB. cmha.ab.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, CMHA, Alberta Division. FOS-region3.com, Region 3 FOS Partnership, Fetal Alcohol Syndrome. abad.ca, Organization for Bipolar Affective Disorders Society, ABAD. Psychologists Association.ab.ca, Psychologists Association of Alberta, PA. rpna.ab.ca, Registered Psychiatric Nurses Association of Alberta, RPNAT. Schizophrenia.ab.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Alberta, SSA. Selfhelpnetwork.org, Alberta Mental Health Self-Help Network. SSA-Edmonton.com, Schizophrenia Society of Alberta, SSA, Edmonton and Area Chapter. British Columbia Mental Health Associations and Organizations. gov.bc.ca, British Columbia. gov.bc.ca/health, British Columbia Ministry of Health, Government of British Columbia. Adler.bc.ca, Adlerian Psychology Association of British Columbia, APAC. Anadi.bc.ca, Association for Awareness and Networking Around Disordered Eating, ANAD, British Columbia. AnxietyBC.com, Anxiety Disorders Association of British Columbia, ADAC. Arttherapy.bc.ca, British Columbia Art Therapy Association, BCATA. BCASW.org, British Columbia Association of Social Workers, BCASW. BC-Counselors.org, British Columbia Association of Clinical Counselors, BCAC. BCliquorstores.com, British Columbia Liquor Distribution Branch, LDB, government agency that operates government liquor stores across the province. BCMA.org, British Columbia Medical Association, BCMA. BCMagic.com, British Columbia Marijuana Party. BCSS.org, British Columbia Schizophrenia Society, BCSS. BCTRA.org, British Columbia Therapeutic Recreation Association, BTRA. CMHA-BC.org, Canadian Mental Health Association, British Columbia Division, CMHA-BC. CRPNBC.bc.ca, College of Registered Psychiatric Nurses of British Columbia, CRPNBC. edwardpeck.com/CCA, Canadian Counselling Associations, CCA, British Columbia and Yukon Chapter. Fetalalcohol.com, FOS Support Network of British Columbia, Fetal Alcohol Syndrome, FOS. FirstNationsTreatment.org, Association of British Columbia First Nations Treatment Programs, UBCP. gov.bc.ca/health, British Columbia Ministry of Health, Government of British Columbia. healthservices.gov.bc.ca/MHD, Adult Mental Health Policy Division. mdabc.ca, Mood Disorders Association of British Columbia, MDA. mheccu.ubc.ca, Mental Health Evaluation and Community Consultation Unit, MHECU. phsa.ca, Provincial Health Services Authority, PHSA, British Columbia. pssg.gov.bc.ca/lclb/index.htm, British Columbia Liquor Control and Licensing Branch, LCLB. Psychologists.bc.ca, British Columbia Psychological Association, BCPA. TheVix.com, Vancouver Island Compassion Society, VIX. vcn.bc.ca/bcapt, British Columbia Association for Play Therapy, CAPT. VictoriaGA.org, Gamblers Anonymous, GA, Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. VMPA.org, Mental Patients Association. WineBC.com, British Columbia Wine Institute, BCWI. Manitoba Mental Health Associations and Organizations. Manitoba.ca, Manitoba. Adam.mb.ca, Anxiety Disorders Association of Manitoba, ADAM. AFM.mb.ca, Addictions Foundation of Manitoba, AFM. Depression.mb.ca, Mood Disorders Association of Manitoba, MDAM. LDAmanitoba.org, Learning Disabilities Association of Manitoba, LDAM. MOSB.mb.ca, Manitoba Association of School Psychologists, MASP. MFEET.ca, Manitoba Families for Effective Autism Treatment, MFEET. MPS.mb.ca, Manitoba Psychological Society, MPS. MSS.mb.ca, Manitoba Schizophrenia Society, MSS. MTS.net/MTTN, Manitoba Therapeutic Touch Network, MTTN. MTS.net/MDSS, Manitoba Down Syndrome Society, MDSS. Psychiatricnurse.mb.ca, College of Registered Psychiatric Nurses of Manitoba, CRPNM. New Brunswick Mental Health Associations and Organizations. GNB.ca, New Brunswick. GNB.ca, New Brunswick, NB, Mental Health. NB.cmha.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, CMHA, New Brunswick. NBLiquor.com, New Brunswick Liquor Corporation, NB Liquor. Schizophrenia Society.nb.ca, Schizophrenia Society of New Brunswick, SSNB. Newfoundland and Labrador Mental Health Organizations. gov.nl.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador. gov.nl.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador, NL, Mental Health On. nlpsych.ca, Association of Newfoundland Psychologists. cmhnl.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, CMHA, Newfoundland and Labrador. health.gov.nl.ca/health/mhc Mental Health and Addictions Division, Department of Health and Community Services. AP.nf.ca, Association of Allied Health Professionals Newfoundland and Labrador. health.gov.nl.ca/health, Department of Health and Community Services. healthy.nf.ca, Healthy Newfoundland and Labrador. nlcahr.mun.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador Centre for Applied Health Research Home. nlchi.nf.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador Centre for Health Information, NLCHI. nlchiropractic.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador Chiropractic Association. nlhba.nf.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador Health Boards Association. nlhima.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador Health Information Management Association. nlmtb.ca, Newfoundland and Labrador Massage Therapists Board. publichealthlab.com/dev1, Newfoundland and Labrador Public Health Laboratory. nctrf.nf.ca, Newfoundland Cancer Treatment and Research Foundation. panel.net, Pharmacists Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, PANL. whscc.nf.ca, Workplace Health, Safety and Compensation Commission, WHSCC. Northwest Territories Mental Health Associations and Organizations. gov.nt.ca, Northwest Territories. hss.gov.nt.ca, Northwest Territories Department of Health and Social Services. gov.nt.ca, Northwest Territories, NT, Mental Health On. Nova Scotia Mental Health Associations and Organizations. novascotia.ca, Nova Scotia. novascotia.cmha.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, Nova Scotia. nadaca.ca, Native Alcohol and Drug Abuse Counseling Association of Nova Scotia, NADACA. ssns.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Nova Scotia, SSNS. cpsns.ns.ca, College of Physicians and Surgeons of Nova Scotia. doctorsns.com, Doctors Nova Scotia. doctorsns.com, Medical Society of Nova Scotia. novascotia.ca/hpp/index.asp, Nova Scotia Health Promotion and Protection. Nunavut Mental Health Associations and Organizations. gov.nu.ca, Nunavut. hss.gov.nu.ca, Nunavut Department of Health and Social Services. Ontario Mental Health Associations and Organizations. Ontario.ca, Ontario. adro.on.ca, Alcohol and Drug Recovery Association of Ontario, ADRO. agco.on.ca, Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, AGCO. anxietyontario.com, Anxiety Disorders Association of Ontario, ADAO. cpo.on.ca, College of Psychologists of Ontario, CPO. dart.on.ca, Drug and Alcohol Registry of Treatment, DART, Ontario, Canada. gamblingresearch.org, Ontario Problem Gambling Research Centre, UPGRC. lcbo.com, Liquor Control Board of Ontario, LCBO. MHNIG.org, Mental Health Nursing Interest Group of Ontario, MITNG. Mooddisorders.on.ca, Mood Disorders Association of Ontario, MDAO. OASW.org, Ontario Association of Social Workers, OASW. Obia.on.ca, Ontario Brain Injury Association, OBIA. OCCID.org, Ontario Community Council on Impaired Driving, OCCID. OCSARC.org, Ontario Consumers for Safe Access to Recreational Cannabis, OCSARC. OCSWSSW.org, Ontario College of Social Workers and Social Service Workers, XWSW. OFCMHAP.on.ca, Ontario Federation of Community Mental Health and Addiction Programs, OFMHAP. Ontario.cmha.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, CMHA, Ontario. OntarioWineSociety.com, Ontario Wine Society, OWS. OOCDN.org/default.asp, Ontario Obsessive Compulsive Disorder Network, OOCDN. Ottawa.ca, Ottawa, Ontario, ON. PPAO.gov.on.ca, Psychiatric Patient Advocate Office, PPAO. PsychiatricSurvivors.org, Psychiatric Survivors of Ottawa, PSO. ResponsibleGambling.org, Responsible Gambling Council, Ontario. Sano.camh.net/WMAO, Withdrawal Management Association of Ontario, WMAO. Schizophrenia.on.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Ontario, SSO. SchizophreniaWindsor.com, Schizophrenia Society of Ontario, SSO, Windsor Essex Chapter. Toronto.ca, Toronto, Ontario, ON. TorontoCompassionCentre.org, Toronto Compassion Centre, TCC. TorontoPsychoanalysis.com, Toronto Psychoanalytic Society and Institute, TPSI. VQAOntario.com, Vintners Quality Alliance Ontario, VQA Ontario. WinesOfOntario.org, Wine Council of Ontario, WCO. Prince Edward Island Mental Health Associations and Organizations. gov.pe.ca, Prince Edward Island. pei.cmha.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, Prince Edward Island. Quebec Mental Health Associations and Organizations. gov.qc.ca, Quebec. aqps.qc.ca, Association Québécoise de Psychologues Scolaires, AQPS. acsm.qc.ca, Canadian Mental Health Association, Quebec, l'Association Canadienne pour la Santé Mentale, Division du Québec. schizophrenie.qc.ca, Société Québécoise de la Schizophrénie, Quebec, Canada. Safer.qc.ca, Syndrome d'alcoolisation fetale face à l'alcool, SAFER. Saskatchewan Mental Health Associations and Organizations. Saskatchewan.ca, Saskatchewan. CMHask.com, Canadian Mental Health Association, Saskatchewan. RPNAS.com, Registered Psychiatric Nurses Association of Saskatchewan, RPNAS. Schizophrenia.sk.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Saskatchewan, SSS. Yukon Mental Health Associations and Organizations. gov.yk.ca, Yukon. hss.gov.yk.ca/ads.php, Alcohol and Drug Services, Health and Social Services, Government of Yukon. cmha.ca/branch_location/Yukon-division, Canadian Mental Health Association, Yukon. hss.gov.yk.ca, Yukon Department of Health and Social Services. ylc.yk.ca, Yukon Liquor Corporation, YLC, government agency that controls the purchase and sale of all beverage alcohol. yma.yk.ca, Yukon Medical Association, YMA. WCB.YK.ca, Yukon Workers' Compensation Health and Safety Board. Chapter 3. Canada Mental Health Organizations from the agapecenter.com/organizations/mental-health/index.htm. Canada Alzheimer Organizations. Alzheimer.ab.ca, Alzheimer Society of Alberta, ASA. Alzheimerdurham.com, Alzheimer Society of Durham Region. Alzheimerottawa.org, Alzheimer Society of Ottawa. Ottawa.ca, Ottawa, Ontario, on. ASMT.org, Alzheimer Society of Toronto. Toronto.ca, Toronto, Ontario, on. Alzheimer-York.com, Alzheimer Society, York Region. Town.newmarket.on.ca, Newmarket, Ontario, on. Canada Brain Injury. BIAA.ab.ca, Brain Injury Association of Alberta, BIAA, Alberta, Canada, CA. Obia.on.ca, Ontario Brain Injury Association, OBIA. Ontario, Canada, CA. Braininjury-SBIA.ca, Saskatchewan Brain Injury Association, SBIA. Saskatchewan, Canada, CA. Canada Psychiatry Orgs. CPA-APC.org, Canadian Psychiatric Association, CPA. Canada, CA. CPRF.ca, Canadian Psychiatric Research Foundation, CPRF. Canada, CA. PPAO.gov.on.ca, Psychiatric Patient Advocate Office, PPAO. PsychiatricSurvivors.org, Psychiatric Survivors of Ottawa, PSO. Canada Psychology Organizations from the agapecenter.com/organization/state-psychological.htm. TCPP-CAPCT.ca, Canadian Association of Psychoanalytic Child Therapists, CAPT. Canada, CA. CDNGRPPsych.ca, Canadian Group Psychotherapy Association, CGPA. Canada, CA. Psychoanalysis.ca, Canadian Psychoanalytic Society, CPS. Canada, CA. CPA.ca, Canadian Psychological Association, CPA. Canada, CA. CRHSBP.ca, Canadian Register of Health Service Providers in Psychology, CRHSPP. Canada, CA. Psychologists.bc.ca, British Columbia Psychological Association, BCPA, Canada, CA. MPS.mb.ca, Manitoba Psychological Society. Canada, CA. APNS.ca, Association of Psychologists of Nova Scotia. Canada, CA. Psych.on.ca, Ontario Psychological Association. Canada, CA. Ordrepsy.qc.ca, Ordre de Psychologues du Québec, Canada, CA. Canada Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Canada, SSC, Canada, CA. BCSS.org, British Columbia Schizophrenia Society, BCSS, British Columbia, Canada, CA. MSS.mb.ca, Manitoba Schizophrenia Society, MSS, Manitoba, Canada, CA. SFNSW.org.au, Schizophrenia Fellowship of New South Wales, SFNSW, New South Wales, Australia, O. Schizophrenia.ab.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Alberta, SSA, Alberta, Canada, CA. SSA-Edmonton.com, Schizophrenia Society of Alberta, SSA, Edmonton and Area Chapter, Alberta, Canada, CA. Schizophrenia-Society.nb.ca, Schizophrenia Society of New Brunswick, SSNB, Miramichi. SSNS.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Nova Scotia, SSNS, Nova Scotia, Canada, CA. Schizophrenia.on.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Ontario, SSO, Ontario, Canada, CA. SchizophreniaWindsor.com, Schizophrenia Society of Ontario, SSO, Windsor Essex Chapter, Ontario, Canada, CA. Schizophrenia.sk.ca, Schizophrenia Society of Saskatchewan, SSS. schizophreni.qc.ca, SOCI, Chouas de la Schizophrénie, Quebec, Canada, CA. Chapter 4. Provincial Medical Information. Provincial Health Ministers. The Federal Health Minister. Brooke Claxton Building, Tunney's Pasture. Postal Locator, 0906C. Ottawa, on K1A0A6. 613-957-0200. Fax, 613-952-1154. Minister_Minis@hc-sc.gc.ca. Minister of Health and Wellness. POG 1360. Station Main. Edmonton, Alberta T5J2N3. 780-427-3665. Fax, 780-415-0961. gov.ab.ca. Minister of Health Services. Government of British Columbia. STNPROV Government. Victoria, BCV 8W 9 x 10 squared. 250-953-3547. Fax, 250-356-9587. leg.bc.ca. Minister of Health. Government of Saskatchewan. Number 346 Legislative Building. Regina, SKS4S0B3. 306-787-7345. Minister.he@gov.sk.ca. Minister of Health. Government of Manitoba. 302 Legislative Building. 450 Broadway. Winnipeg, MBR3C0V8. 204-945-3731. Fax, 204-945-0441. minlt@leg.gov.mb.ca. Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care. Government of Ontario. 80 Grosvenor Street 10th floor. Toronto, on M7A2C4. 416-327-4300. Fax, 416-326-1571. ccu.mo@ontario.ca. Ministre de la Santé et de Services Sociaux. Cabinet de la Ministre. 1075, Chemin Sainte-Foy. Quebec, QCG1S2M1. 418-266-7171. Fax, 418-266-7197. ministre@msss.gov.qc.ca. Minister of Health and Community Service. Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. Confederation Building. P.O. Box 8700. St. John's, NFLD. A 1B4J6. 709-729-3124. Fax, 709-729-0121. gov.nl.ca. Minister of Health. Government of New Brunswick. Carleton Place. P.O. Box 5100, Fredericton, NB. E3B5G8. 506-457-4800. Fax, 506-453-5243. gnb.ca. Minister of Health. Department of Health. Government of Nova Scotia. P.O. Box 488, Halifax, Nova Scotia B3J2R8. 902-424-3377. Fax, 902-424-0559. healman@gov.ns.ca. Minister of Health and Wellness. Government of Prince Edward Island. Jones Building, 2nd floor. 11 Kent Street P.O. Box 2000. Charlottetown, PA. C1A7N8. 902-368-4930. Fax, 902-368-4974. gov.pe.ca. Minister of Health and Social Services. Government of Yukon. P.O. Box 2703. Whitehorse, Yukon. Y1A2C6. 867-667-5806. Fax, 867-393-6252. gov.yk.ca. Minister of Health and Social Services. Government of the Northwest Territories. POG 1320. Yellowknife, NT. X1A2L9. 867-669-2344. Fax, 867-873-0481. gov.nt.ca. Minister of Health and Social Services. Government of Nunavut. P.O. Box 1200. Iqaluit, New X0A0H0. Phone, 867-975-5027. Fax, 867-975-5121. gov.nu.ca. Provincial Health Lines. These are health lines you call for medical advice and medical emergency advice. Alberta. 866-408-5465. British Columbia. 866-215-4700. Manitoba. 888-315-9257. New Brunswick. 800-244-8353. Newfoundland. 888-709-2929. Nova Scotia. Ontario. 866-797-0000. Prince Edward Island. Quebec. 514-934-0354. Saskatchewan. 877-800-0002. Northwest Territories. 888-255-1010. Nunavut. 26 Health Centers. Arctic Bay Health Center. 867-439-8816. Yukon. Provincial Medical Offices. British Columbia Department of Health. Medical SVCs. Plan of BC. 1515 Blanchard Street. POG 2000, STA. PROV. Government. Victoria, BCV 8W2Y4. 800-465-4911. 800-663-7100. 250-952-1742. 250-952-5210. 250-386-7171. 604-683-7151, Vancouver. Fax, 250-952-2964. rpb.ltrs@mo.hnet.bc.ca. hlth.gov.bc.ca. hlth.gov.bc.ca/msp. health.gov.bc.ca. gov.bc.ca/health services. Office for Seniors. First FL. 1515 Blanchard Street. Victoria, BCV 8W3C8. 250-952-1238. Fax, 250-952-1159. hlth.gov.bc.ca/seniors. Alberta Department of Health. 10025 Jasper Avenue. Edmonton, UB T5J1S6. 780-422-1954. 780-427-1432 1452. 800-310-0000. Fax, 780-422-3552. Fax, 780-422-0102. Inform@health.gov.ub.ca. CIPmail@health.gov.ub.ca. health.gov.ab.ca. 727 7th Avenue, SW. Main FL. Calgary, UB T2P0Z5. 403-297-6411. health.gov.ab.ca. Inform@health.gov.ub.ca. Saskatchewan Department of Health. SK Health Registration. 3475 Albert Street. Regina, SKS4S6X6. 306-787-3013 3475. 306-787-3261. 306-787-3251. 306-933-6275, Saskatoon. 800-667-7551. 800-667-7523. 800-667-7766. Fax, 306-787-3761. Fax, 306-787-3823. health.gov.sk.ca. gov.sk.ca/health. Manitoba Department of Health. Insured Benefits Branch. Manitoba Health. POG 925. 599 Empress Street. Winnipeg, MBR 3C2T6. 204-786-7221. 204-786-7101. 800-392-1207. 877-218-0102. Fax, 204-783-2171. gov.mb.ca/health. gov.mb.ca/health/MHSIP. health.gov.mb.ca. Ontario Department of Health. POG 9000. Kingston, on K7L5A9. 613-545-3811. Fax, 613-545-4399. 416-314-5518, Toronto. 800-268-1154. 800-387-5559, TTY. Infomo@gov.on.ca. gov.on.ca/health. health.gov.on.ca. Ontario Health Insurance Plan. Ministry of Health. POB 60258, STA. BRMB. Toronto, on M7Y2H1. 800-268-1154. 416-314-5518. 613-237-9100, Ottawa. Quebec Department of Health. Health Insurance Office. Régie de l'assurance maladie du Québec. Service de operations et de renseignements auxiliary assures. 1075 Saint Foy. POB 6600. Quebec City, QCG 1K7T3. 800-561-9749. 800-707-3380. 418-643-3380. 418-646-4636. 514-864-3411, Montreal. 800-561-9749. msss.gov.qc.ca. govi.qc.ca/vision/sante/n.html. ramq.govi.qc.ca. New Brunswick Department of Health. POG 5100. Carleton PL, 7th FL. Fredericton, NBE 3B5G8. 888-762-8600. 888-762-8700, French. 800-442-9799, After Hours Emergency Social Service. 506-684-7901506-453-2536. 506-453-2161. Fax, 506-444-4697. Fax, 506-453-2726. Medicare@gnb.ca. gov.nb.ca/hcs. gnb.ca/hw-sm/hw/index.htm. gnb.cagnb.ca/0051. health.nb.ca. Seniors. 888-762-8600. 888-762-8700, French. 800-442-9799, After Hours Emergency Social Service. 506-453-2145. Nova Scotia Department of Health. POG 488. 1690 Hollis Street. Halifax, NSB 3J2R8. 902-424-5999. 902-424-7538. 800-565-3611. 800-387-6665. 800-563-8880. 800-670-8888, TTY/TDD. Fax, 902-424-0615. gov.ns.ca/health. gov.ns.ca/health/wait times. Medical Services Insurance. POG 500. Halifax, NSB 3J2S1. 800-563-8880. 902-468-9700. Newfoundland Department of Health. Hospital Insurance Plan. Hospital SVCs. Division. Department of Health and Community SVCs. Confederation Building, West Block. POB 8700. St. John's, NFA 1B4J6. 709-292-4010800-563-1557. 800-563-2163. 709-729-5021. 709-729-4928. Fax, 709-729-4009. gov.nl.ca/health. gov.nl.ca/mcp. Medical Care Plan. Public Services Division. Elizabeth Towers. POB 200, STA. A. St. John's, NFA 1C5J3. 800-563-1557. 709-758-1588. Fax, 709-729-4009. Prince Edward Island Department of Health. 35, Dowses Road. Montague, PECOA1R0. 800-241-6970. 902-368-5858. Fax, 902-838-2050. Health and Community SVCs. Agency. Government of Pay. POB 2000. Charlottetown, PECIA 7N8. 902-368-6900. 6130. Fax, 902-368-4969. gov.pe.ca/hss. Hospital and Medical Services Insurance. Department of Health and Social Services. POB 3000. Montague, PEC 001R0. 902-368-5858. Northwest Territories Department of Health. Western NWT Health Services Administration. Department of Health and Social SVCs. Bag 9, 2nd FL. ICC Building. Inuvik, Antico 0T0. 867-979-7400. 800-661-0830. Fax, 867-979-3197. Box 1320. Yellowknife NTX1A2L9. 867-920-6173. Fax, 867-873-0266. Eastern NWT. Department of Health and Social Services. Bag 002. Rankin Inlet, Anticocago. 800-661-0833. 867-645-5002. Yukon Department of Health. Yukon Healthcare Insurance Plan. POB 2703. Whitehorse, YT 2C6. 867-667-5725. 867-667-367-3800-661-0408. Fax, 867-393-6486. hss.gov.yk.ca